here on a newly laid lawn in front of a relatively new housing apartment building, in front of one of the busiest streets in the neighborhood, we've got the inimitable Shaggy mane, Coprinus comatus. And this is a really powerful mushroom with a strong personality. It's insistent. It is adaptable. It is resilient. It's bold and unashamed. It really likes to put itself in the spotlight, or in this case, in the headlights. This mushroom loves disturbed, human-influenced areas. You'll find it on the sides of roads, freshly laid lawns, landscaped areas, gardens. Even I've seen it busting up in the crack between the asphalt parking lot and the curb. And it is a decomposer of organic matter in the soil, a hunter, actually a trapper of nematodes, microscopic soil worms. It loves their nitrogen. It loves nitrogen-rich soils. And it is an intense accumulator of heavy metals. And I believe it's lead and mercury specifically, which abound in exhaust fumes and car drippings and other industrial pollution. So even though you find these quite commonly in urban areas, disturbed areas, you must use caution if you're going to eat this mushroom, which is a choice edible. So try to harvest it from places like along a gravel path in the forest, for example, where I found it last week. And they were delicious. I do like them. They have a very soft, succulent, juicy texture and a somewhat classic mushroomy flavor. They're not to everyone's taste, but I find them quite lovely. Shaggy manes, the leader of the inky cap tribe of mushrooms, undergoes an incredible transformation. It begins as a firm little button, pure white, pushing up from under the ground with great force, with white gills tightly packed in its cylindrical cap. But because these gills are packed so tightly like pages of a closed book, there's no space for them to shoot the spores out between the gills into the open air. So they've developed an ingenious strategy, which is to auto-digest themselves from the bottom up. As you can see here, this process has begun. They release an enzyme which digests their own tissues from the bottom of the cap upward, making space in between the gills, allowing for aerial spore discharge. And in the process, the gill tissue and probably a whole lot of spores become a liquid inky slurry, as you see here. I'm not the first one to use this stuff as ink. Many people have used this as ink for a very long time. But yesterday, with my daughter, I had made some Shaggy mane ink, which is easy to do. Simply let this sit around in a bowl until it's completely liquid and strain out the solids. And we did a session of calligraphy and brush painting on rice paper with a traditional Chinese ink brush, and it was quite fun.